co-founders of the Nomadic Archivist Project. I'm here with Miranda Mims, my amazing co-conspirator, co-founder, and we have some wonderful guests tonight. Before we get started, I just want to thank you all for coming this evening, and I want to remind you that we want this to be an engaging process. So we have a chat on the side that we're going to be checking throughout the entire thing. We have an amazing conversation with our NAP crew, Lee and Steve. Ooh, I'm about to say my own name again because she's my twin.
Together.
She's my twin, Tanya. Tanya and Lee are going to be speaking about their experiences and their interest in oral history, something that Miranda and I have been doing for years with different people, our family members, at the Schomburg Center as a part of NAP. So we want to just kind of remind you guys that this particular project, this particular kind of idea, the oral history, is a very personal one. And so I think maybe so we can get started, maybe we should introduce yourselves, like Lee and Tanya.
Wait a minute.
I've been here before. I'm not new.
This is
not freshman
This is
year.
the NAP kickback, though. I mean, just in case the NAP kickback is about community, so we want to make sure that we say hello to our community out there. So anybody who is out there with us,
out there.
Hello.
Hi, everyone out there, community out there.
Wait, are we
whether
asking?
you're here in this moment or in the future.
Yes, we greet you.
What, Lee?
No, I was gonna say if people are watching, where are you watching from? What it called, like a roll call? So I'm holding it down here in DC. Hopefully, some people are from the District of Columbia or St. Louis. That's another home, or Memphis. So yeah.
Or Toledo,
Memphis,
Ohio,
okay.
or Rochester,
Or the Bronx, New
Bronx. Boogie down. Yes.
All the way.
All the way down.
Yes. So, so I didn't mean to interrupt your flow, Stephen. Just wanted to make sure, as we are starting, we're trying to build up this community space that we remember.
We're trying to build up the community space. Miranda, you can interrupt me anytime because you are adorable.
I will anyways, regardless, I guess.
I know. So as I said, the when it comes to oral histories, it's often like a very personal thing, and it has so many like benefits in terms of getting to know someone telling their story, learning how to be a good oral history practitioner. It takes time. It's one of those ongoing things. You learn how to speak with people and to be comfortable with them so that they trust you to tell their story and be comfortable with their story. So this is the NAP crew, as everyone said, and it's Lee and Tanya. You've seen them before, and they have come on together, come on separately to talk about different aspects of archiving. But tonight, if you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about oral histories. And so I have a question for you both to sort of lead off the discussion. Can you talk about where you're at right now with this oral history idea, project, sensibility? And I'm going to call on you, Lee. I'm going to do the whole, you call on me, I call on you, you call on somebody else kind of thing.
I thought we were going to do like rock, paper, scissors, say.
We could do rock, scissors, papers. You want to do this? Well, there are four of us. So, okay.
No, it's just Lee. It's just Lee and me.
Oh, it's just you and Tanya. Got it. All right.
Yeah,
wait. We're in the discussion too, though, right?
Wins.
Yeah, but we're the guests. So
they're the guests.
Oh.
I already asked them a question. So now
okay.
I'm about to get kicked off the show.
Okay,
you're the leader, Stephen. Lee, you go. Stephen's the leader, and he chose you.
Okay. Wait. So what was the question? Where am I in my oral history journey, or something? What was the question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'm going to take it back to high school, where in the yearbook I got voted most likely to be a history teacher, and so because that's what I knew my journey would be, is like history, right? And it's through knowing you and Miranda that I'm like, oh, history is archives, history is oral histories. Like my world has exploded around what is history, right? And the possibilities.
I love that.
So you just want to ground it in that. And then when it comes to oral histories, I would say, I did just complete an intro class through Humanities DC Oral History Collaborative, like Oral Histories 101, that really taught us about like how to develop a plan, an ethic of care. Like it was a really great intro to the practice. And I would say that I'm super excited about oral histories because my father died when I was 15 and we don't have his voice on tape anywhere, right? And so it's really important for me to collect the stories of the elders in my family, but then also, like later, once they become ancestors, that I can still have that connection with them through their voice. And so That's my priority. And then outside of that, with my work in Black in Space is collecting stories of folks who've created spaces for Black LGBTQ folks here in DC. So those are like the two ways that I want to engage with oral histories. So yeah.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, I liked how you talked about like the meaning behind it, because I think it'd be interesting to hear what you sort of learned about this intentional aspect of taking oral histories or doing oral histories, because I think, yeah, there's always this piece, this part of us that wants to engage with people, to hear their stories, and to make sure that that we capture in a way that other people can hear their voice and hear how they tell, um, to tell things in their own way. But I think, yeah, this kind of, and then how to be really intentional about it, like what next. So that's interesting, everything you just said, Lee. I want to definitely hear more about this class that you took.
So now I'm gonna pass it to my homie Tanya, and she's gonna tell y'all about her oral history journey.
Pass it. Pass it.
Not sure where Tanya is. The rest of y'all.
I don't know what was happening there. That was a really bad pass. I hope this isn't like.
I mean, I started this way, so I had to like work my way over.
This is part of the Kickback Olympics.
I didn't get any medals with that pass. So yeah, you have to see me in 4 years. See me in 2030. All right. My history with oral history, I would say, is relatively new. My father passed not too long ago, and he, even though he was in my life my whole life, he's married to my mom for 46 years. He's, I grew up, mom, dad, brother, household. He was still a mystery to me, and I reached out to his sister originally to see if she could tell me things about him that I didn't know, so that I could kind of build an oral history project of him through her words and like her memory. But then it kind of grew from that. That's how it started. That's what started the conversation, like when I reached out to her. And then it took a while for me to get our schedules like aligned. And during that hit or miss with our scheduling, I started realizing, you know what, I should just pick her brain about my grandparents, all my aunts and uncles, my great grandparents, my great, as far great as you can get, like just give it all to me. And so that's what it transformed into. So I did my first interview with her about 2 weeks ago. It was not about my dad. It was actually about my great grandparents to great grandparents to grandparents. And that's when I found out that there may have been a revolutionary in my family. My family's from Puerto Rico, both sides. And so so when I found that out, I said, oh, there's like way more I'm gonna get here, and it gave me that to want to like reactivate my ancestry.com account, start plugging in names, and seeing if I can find who my great grandparents are, if there are any documentation on I heard my great grandmother was arrested for 17 years for being a revolutionary in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
And so there's just a lot that I'm like, okay, I need this name, I need this birth date, I need this death record. Like I want to look up this woman and really know her. So that's where I'm at. It's more of like the flame just started. Yeah.
I like this patchwork sensibility you have about it. So it starts off with wanting to know about your dad, but also then it sort of flowered out, into these other folks. And so, yeah, that's pretty beautiful. And then to find out you have a revolutionary in the family, that's
right.
It's pretty awesome.
So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Puerto Rico has a very long history of women being sterilized. I mean, it's part of our history, and it started in the 1930s. They called it la operación, which is the operation, and this is where women went in to get a regular checkup and came out sterilized, right? And this was happening across the islands. And so from my understanding, my great grandmother was part of stopping this, and there was like this really big resistance. And I'm sorry, my great grandmother, apologies. And there was this big resistance, and this is what led her to like being arrested. And the interesting thing is, I don't know how many other Puerto Ricans are raised finding this out about their culture, but you know, when I was of age, that's what my mother taught me, right? Like, this is your cultural history. This is what happened to women, you know, on the islands. This is why it was such a big deal for my grandmother to have so many children. Like, that was their way of saying, this is the resistance. This is the resistance, right? You're not going to stop our people from existing, right? And so it was just interesting to hear that my great grandmother was someone who actively took it upon herself to stop this. And how, I don't know, but that's like, right, the purpose of digging into the past. So it'll be exciting to find out. Yeah.
What was the reason? Who was behind the sterilization? You said across the islands. So it was the government, the individual governments, or were they in cahoots with the U.S. or?
Yeah, no, it was the government. It was the U.S. It was the government for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
And then it stopped.
This is after the U.S. took control of Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah. Right. And so then it stopped around the 1940s, and then phase 2, which is what I call it. I don't know if that's what it's called, but phase 2 happened in the 1950s as the form of test trials on the very first ever birth control contraceptives. Okay. And that became a second round of sterilization, right? And so there's from the 30s to the end of the 60s of just like women in Puerto Rico being, their reproductive system just being completely targeted and lessening the people there. Yeah.
Population control.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. I'm looking forward to hearing what you find out, you know.
Tell me about it. I'm turning red over this, you know.
Yeah. There's got to be records, you know, municipal records.
Right. You guys can help me with that.
There's got to be.
You saw how I did that, Lee, right?
You kind of slipped that in.
Yeah, you guys can help, you know, direct me. You know, just direct me. That's all.
Where's this piece of paper on my desk? Oh, Tanya.
There's going to be a part 2.
We'll be more than happy, Tanya. More than happy. Be honored, actually. So, yeah.
Well, yes, because once you start digging and you find out more, we'll have to have you keep updating us. And keep updating the Kickback folks on what you're finding. I think it's interesting too, because a lot, you know, because you started with a very different question. You started with a very different intention when it came to the oral history, to talking to your aunt, right? It's your aunt. I would love to talk about
that. My dad, my aunt,
yeah.
My dad's sister.
Right. And then you were like, no, we got to take it back even further. We're not going to start there. Actually, we go further. Right. And then she like led you down some other. I mean, I feel like that's pretty awesome. Did you have a set of questions that you had for her, or were you kind of just hearing what she was saying and then sort of freestyle?
A little bit of both. So I did have questions, right? So my first question was,
you're a little low, Tanya. Is she low to other people?
A little bit.
Am I back now?
You're back.
You're back.
All right.
You're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Are you back?
Yes.
You're back.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I had a set of questions, but I also freestyled at the same time. But my set of questions were somewhat generic. Okay. When did my grandparents get here? How did they meet? Right. Excuse me. Please tell me about my great grandparents and how did they meet? Excuse me. So that was just very, very generic. When did they come to the US? Right. I just wanted like timestamps. And am I the one having internet issues? Am I on?
Fine over here. You are on. Yes.
All right, great. So they started really, really generic. But going back to what Miranda says about my original, what originally brought me to my aunt, and you know, we have viewers out there, they're gonna find this one very interesting. I really wanted to get an oral history about my dad because I found out later on in life that he truly believed that he was abducted by aliens, right? And this is not a joke.
Okay.
And this is real to him, right? And I found this out like way later in life. That's another thing I got to search for the archives to see if like there were any unidentified flying objects, right, circulating like the Bronx at that time, right? Because you know he couldn't have been the only person that saw this thing, but apparently he wasn't. He was with 2 other friends, and they all had the same experience, and that's what led me to my aunt. And she told me that yes, when she was about 6 years old, that's kind of the story they passed down to her. This is what happened to your brother.
Okay.
And the family believed him. And this is really the story I want. You know, it's dope finding out that your great grandmother might be a revolutionary. You know?
But that's your dad.
But hey,
listen,
you know, I'm just saying that's what led me there, you know.
Excellent.
The truth is out there.
So I want to relate this question of context that you know you're finding out more about your dad and your great grandmother. One great.
Both, yeah, great and great. Yeah.
Oh, great and great.
There's a few in there, yeah.
And so, Lee, with you, when it comes to context, how did you hear about the oral history class? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
How did I hear about it? So I'm a big fan of the DC History Center, Humanities. So I'm on all of their listservs, and it came across my email one day. It was like Oral History 101, and it was a free opportunity with like a suggested donation. And I was like, whoa, this is great. And so it was just something that just like felt aligned, right? And it was like, let me go ahead and like take advantage of this opportunity. And so that's how I ended up there. And it was really sweet to be in the space because it was an intergenerational group. And it was also a mix of like native Washingtonians and transplants.
Okay.
And so the ways that we were like able to learn from each other, and just also the importance of being in a community, especially given the time that we're in and the energy that we have in DC because of Hot Cheeto. So I think to be able to like counteract that, right? To be in community, to think about how we're going to like preserve and share our stories was like super impactful, and just grateful that they were able to offer, you know, this free opportunity for community. So, yeah.
What's the name of it again?
So there's like the DC Oral History Collaborative. So it's like Humanities DC, MLK Public Library, and the DC History Center. And so they offer this, and then they also have additional funding for folks who are interested in either doing oral history work or working with existing collections. So, or even producing an event based on, you know, like archiving and oral histories. So
that's excellent. I'm so glad that.
So how do people apply?
You go, is it Humanities DC or DC Oral History Collaborative? I forget the link, but you go to the website. Actually, the round closes tomorrow for a couple of the grants, and then another round opens up in March. And so, yeah, and so I'm not gonna apply for this round around like collecting my own oral histories. I'm actually considering applying in the March cycle. Did we lose Steven?
He did.
Oh, he'll be back. Okay, well, we'll just keep going. I'm thinking about applying in the March cycle because there's a grant. It's called like Beyond the Archives, and so I think I want to explore the Rainbow History Project archives and figure out other ways to like bring that to life. So,
what is the Beyond the Archives grant?
So you basically identify a local archive, and then you say like, this is how I want to work with that archive. So, for example, I'm interested in soundscapes. So if I do like the Rainbow History Project archives, then I could go specifically to like their Clubhouse collection. And the Clubhouse was a LGBTQ gathering space that was open in DC from 1975 to 1991. And so if I could take the oral histories that they have around that project, then I could like remix them into soundscapes and find other ways for people to engage with those archives. Because not everybody's going to go like digging in archives, right? So how do we share that information with people and make it more accessible? So So
that's dope. Those are some really great opportunities.
You know, DC is dope.
Be a DC resident. Okay. Yep. I figured there was a twist.
You got to hold it down for the 202.
The DMV. You got to be DMV.
No. DC.
Not even.
Only DC.
There's a difference. There is a difference.
Okay. We'll take Maryland and Virginia out.
We don't know them places. 202. Right here. Wait, actually.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It sounded. Yep.
You see that?
I kind of heard it.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounded very inclusive.
So,
I do love my adopted hometown. I do love my adopted hometown. So yeah. Mhm.
let's check in with Stephen. Are you there with? Are you here
Yeah,
with
where
us?
are you?
You're just right now. You're just a black screen, which is okay if that's how you want to show up.
And we can't hear you.
Yeah.
No.
Mercury is in the pre-shower, right? So it's gonna work.
Yeah, and this is what this is lunar
Lunar New Year, Mardi
Lunar
Gras.
New
Lunar New
Year.
Year.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Right.
A lot happening today.
Yeah.
So,
It's the year of
yes.
the horse.
Like the fire horse.
The fire
You know what?
horse.
Fire horse. Look at you guys. I was testing you.
I know, Fred. I know.
All right.
I only know I only just got schooled on this like 3 hours ago. So
Don't forget that. Fire.
okay, wait. Stephen is
raising
he's
his
raising
hand.
his raising a hand.
Poor
Okay,
guy can't
Stephen.
get back in.
Oh, let me see if I can't. I don't know
Okay.
what that means. I don't know. I don't know what that means, Stephen. You raising your hand, I don't know, but
Is he chatting, Stephen? You should chat so that we can read it.
Oh, like on YouTube, you mean?
Or on the
no, through
studio
our
chat.
yeah, studio chat. Yeah,
I
Stephen.
don't even know. Okay. Oh, there. I don't even have mine up. My bad. Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
Here we go.
I've had to
Okay.
fill in as a producer a few times, so I know the ropes.
Well, Miranda,
Yes.
can I ask you a question while we glamp here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So were you doing oral history work before you went to school?
Yeah.
Or you okay? And what was like the first project that you worked on?
So I started. I feel like I started in about 2004. 2004. So once I got my undergrad degree, and I got my undergrad degree very late in 2004, because I dropped out a bunch of times, and then I finally got back into school and finally got my degree. But I got this really weird degree, which I always say, but people, anyways, so I got Stephen, he's like here, he's gone. So he's trying to connect with us.
Yeah.
He's trying to connect.
Enough,
He will be here. So I got this really weird degree in Africana studies, and I kept trying to get a job with it, and people were like, I don't know what this is. What does this do? And so I would, at some point the reality of I need to go back to graduate school really sunk in. And so I think I started, so this was sort of thinking about like what I wanted to do with my life, and being interested in family history, as I've talked about many times. My mother's a genealogist. And so I started to think about my family history in the broader context of Black history in the United States, right? I was like, if my family's migrating to Western New York for these particular industries, other families are, of course. And there are so many interesting, throughways, especially in Rochester, New York, where my family finally ended up, with all these other families. And I was like, how did people get here? Like, how did this happen? And so like you, like both of you mentioned, one of the reasons why you got into oral history too is because of people in your family that you've lost. And so I lost my father's mother, my grandmother, Fanny Pearl Bowen, at a very young age. And I have videos of me like curling up at her feet when she's in a rocking chair, and she looks like a much older woman than actually she was when she died. I didn't realize this, but in those pictures, in those videos, she looked like an older woman to me. And so anyway, and I was like, everybody's always telling stories about my grandmother too. And I didn't have any of those stories. I only had like these few videos where we were together. And so I wanted to know who she was. And she had 10 children. And so I thought, how I can learn who she was. And she was the one who moved to Rochester and moved her family here. And how I can find out more about that migration story is by interviewing her children and finding out from each one of them their perspective
right
on what life was like growing up. so I could put a bigger with their mother or without her mother, because she did leave some of her kids behind when she moved. And so I wanted to just kind of like know that story. And so but I didn't want to just ask one person. And had she had been here, I probably just would have asked her from her perspective. But maybe not, I don't know. But I thought I could put this collage together. I could get this collective of voices and find out, and get really close. I was like really close to maybe, like how to really visualize what life was like with her. And so, yeah, so that's where I started. I started with those oral histories, taking them of all of my family members, all of my aunts and uncles. And sometimes I would take them with them all together. So I'd ask them a memory and have them when they were all together. At times, some of my family would come up from Memphis and, or Kansas City. And, and I'd get them in a room and I'd start asking them questions. So that's sort of where I started. And this was before I became an archivist, or before I even thought that I would ever become an archivist.
Well, I have one more question, but I don't know if Tanya, you had a question or there's something you want to
It could wait.
Okay, just real quick then, because for the folks who are watching who may be interested in oral histories, like, so from 2004 to now, like, what are like the top 3 things that people should be considering with oral histories? Because like maybe the way you did it in 2004 is very different, than how you do it now.
I mean, I think time is of the essence. So I got really thorough histories of most of my aunts and uncles, but I did not of everybody. And, like then I went to graduate school. I put this project actually on hold, and I was like, I'll come back to it. And of course I never did. And so I think that was the biggest thing. Like, time is of the essence. I should have just gone through and did it, even though, and I wanted you to talk a little bit more about this idea of being more intentional and how you go about it. But sometimes it really is, this thing of you just kind of need to do it. And so figure out the logistics later, figure out like what the ultimate aim is or goal is, or where this stuff might live or how it might be shared later at times. Like sometimes you can go in with a real plan, but sometimes you really just need to act. And I see Steven, that S coming up. It's like Superman. It's like the Superman on his chest or something. He keeps trying. He keeps trying.
The Steven symbol going out there.
Let me see if he's not trying to text or anything. So
he's writing in the public chat saying that he's in limbo, that he can hear us and he can see us, but we just can't see him. And I don't know why it's coming up as Tanya. So yeah, there's a glitch going on somewhere in the matrix. Yeah. Because I'm not typing that at all.
He said no twins, right? So who knows? I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, you did.
See?
That's magic.
It is
Listen,
magic.
I believe in magic. Okay.
Stephen, I wonder just why Stephen's writing in the well, maybe it's a public chat. So yeah, because maybe we're community, so everybody can see and hear what we're doing.
I just find it interesting that it's pulling up as Tanya.
Yours says Tanya, but mine says Miranda.
Oh, okay.
I don't even see chat, so I don't know what's happening.
See if yours says Lee. I mean,
yeah. See, now I'm curious. See if it says Lee. What
mine says
Lee
Steven.
say?
Yours says Steven?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Ghost in the machine. Okay.
Wow, we must be narcissists. How is it coming up as us?
I don't know up north, but here in the Mid-Atlantic.
Well. Let me see. I'll show this other screen.
Narcissist archivist. Are archivists narcissists? Is that?
Maybe.
Ooh, that would be a great T-shirt. Coin it. Coin it.
Yeah, the
narcissist archivist. Yeah.
Yes.
Might be.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it all comes down to the self, right? Aren't we all just really trying to figure out who we are as individuals?
Every day.
Every day. Oh, okay. Oh, there goes Steven again. Okay.
Yeah, that S. It's like I'm trying. So Lee, yeah, so you mentioned, so you want to know just a few things that people should be thinking about, or what I should have done differently.
Well, I know you said time is of the essence is number 1. So I was just curious, like the top 3 things for folks, to consider as they embark on this journey. So
yeah, how you take How you how you record, that's important too. Making sure if you record on something like your phone, make sure, or I did it on a tape recorder. So it was really difficult to move over to digital. And when I did, it was not clear. This is
Right.
early mid 2000s. So, whatever, it was the technology I had at the time. And I probably should have moved it to digital a lot sooner, and I didn't do that. So I might have gotten a clearer audio from it, I think. But yeah, so if you're recording it on something, save it somewhere. And I always say this, but everything, is you could either give a copy to the person you, like Tanya, you with your aunt, you give a copy to her, like share it so that you're not the only person, and make sure the person that you're talking to though is okay with you sharing it. Maybe just sharing it with them, but maybe sharing it with their sister or their daughter or whoever, so I always think, make sure that other people know at least there's a copy out there, because sometimes an aunt, sorry, I always say aunt because she was my cousin who was like an uncle, who was my grandmother's sister's son. So he was much, older. He's my second, is this a second cousin? Can't remember at the moment. But anyways, his wife recently passed, and we have videos of her. She sang in a choir. She had an amazing voice. But we, as my mother, and when we went to the service and we saw her daughter, we showed it to her. And so like, this is something she'd never seen before. So, like things like that, if you have something to share it with people, to share, when my uncle passed, and I have his oral history, I made CDs for the family so that they could hear it and have it, because they didn't have it, and they didn't know about it. So that's also a top recommendation.
Yeah, sharing is, I think, a really big part of it. I don't know necessarily who I would share the oral history with. Like I want to share it with everyone, right? I don't know how big of a project it's going to become, but I'm big on like sharing photos. So like when my dad passed, I thought the biggest thing that I could do was like send people photos of like them with him, especially when they were children, right? And that's going like deep into the archives. And the biggest thing that I did for them was, give them a picture that they completely, I mean, some people didn't know like these moments in their life existed. And I found that with going into the archives and not being a narcissistic archivist, right? That even though sometimes like the journey starts as the self, like you start realizing there are other people that are in these moments too. Like they're sharing them, and why not like give it to them? And so that to me is like the best part. Like the idea of like you, Miranda, like being able to have, your aunts and your uncles in one place, and answering this question you have and on their perspective. But like, have any of them asked for it? Like, do they have those recordings?
So I
did.
So one of the things I did was I created transcripts.
Okay.
And so this is before any AI. I think I actually told my mom to do it. I think I asked her if she would, because she was a transcriptionist. So I was like, can you transcribe these?
Yeah.
So I know I did that, and gave it to some people. And I think I was thinking, oh, I'll do a bigger project with it. And, it just didn't happen. But I will say, and I know, Tanya, you had recordings of your father. He would leave you voice messages a lot. And that was something that other people in your family didn't have and you shared.
Right. Absolutely.
I will say that, sharing is an interesting thing to think about too, because when you're talking to somebody, in a way, sometimes that they might be like, yes, you can share this.
Right.
But as as you start talking, you might say things, or people might say things that is more revealing than they had thought. And so when I went back and listened to some of them, I was like, I want to share this with,
Right.
and maybe they passed with their daughter, or, you know, somebody close that might not have heard this story before, but it's a delicate topic, or it's a delicate recording. And it could say, you know, it could actually be somewhat triggering to somebody.
Right.
So it's a weird, you know, like, I don't know, but that's why I shouldn't have waited so long either. I should have done it so much earlier. I should have given the recording so they could have passed it on, or they could have been like,
How
cut
they
that
wanted
out.
to. Right.
Right. But I didn't do that.
Right.
And that's my fault. And so had I had done that earlier, I could have mitigated some of the issues that I feel now, where I'm like, oh, I want to give, you know, I've given things to people, you know, but I'm always like,
share sooner.
Well, yeah,
I feel some kind of way about it, because I don't want to, you know, I want this to be a positive, you know, of course, not everything can be positive, but I also don't want to like stir up things that cause pain.
I will say in our class, they taught us about ongoing consent. And so it's speaking to the, getting into them sooner rather than later, that, you know, giving people a written copy of the transcript and hear the interview, and they have the opportunity to strike anything that they don't want.
Right.
So, and the fact that it is ongoing, because they could go the first round and be like, cut that story, and then, you know, a couple of months later. But I guess also letting people know, well, this is my timeline and this is how I plan to share it. So to really strike all the things that they may feel uncomfortable with. But but yeah, the consent piece. Yeah, it's not
the consent. And I like that idea. Yeah, ongoing consent. You're right. And so that's where I'm at right now, where it's kind of a dilemma at times. I'm like, I didn't, not that it was an ongoing process, but it's been so long. And, you know, I would love for people to re-listen or look at it. And but that's not always possible, especially if people have passed.
No.
Stephen, I know you can hear us. You have any questions out there that you want, or anything that you want us to relay? Put it in the chat, and we'll put it up on the screen, so you could stay with us, friend. I had to remove the dark square because
he wasn't coming on.
You know, he's like backstage doing a wardrobe change. And he'll
be
back on shortly.
He's laughing. How is that coming up? Is it coming up as Miranda who's saying it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Stephen.
Too many outfits, right?
Stephen, be yourself. It is okay to be yourself. You don't have to moonlight as me. He said too many outfits. This is Stephen saying too many outfits. It's not me saying it.
Oh, I have another question then, because I know I don't know how long we're going to be on today, but Miranda and Tanya, from the work that you've been doing, like, what are some resources? Where should people go if they're like, all right, besides going to the NAB website, which we're going to plug at the end, but what are like, are there like books that you recommend, or podcasts, or other YouTube channels, like, so people can really like dive into the oral history pool? That didn't sound right, but here we are. So yeah, where should people, how can people get started?
I mean, I think what you did, Tanya, was great. Just reaching out to someone and seeing if they would be down. I feel like that's a good start. I think if you're talking about like the type of tools out there, I mean, there's so many places to go. I mean, it's really easy to think about like what tools you might need, any kind of recording device. It depends on what your output's going to be, but it's always great to be in a quieter space, but you might not have all that. You might not have a microphone, but you can look in to see what technology's out there. But for me, I would say beyond like the technical aspects of it is to start by maybe, if not going to the archives, a lot of oral histories are also published online, to be familiar with the way that people have given their testimonies and people have asked it in different ways. And so like, maybe it's family, maybe it's an artist, maybe it's a politician, but to kind of to see the intimacy. And I think if you're going to be the one asking the questions, to kind of hearing it as putting yourself in the audience perspective, I guess, shoes, right? To kind of really getting like intimate with the way that oral histories, and it's so different depending on where you are, like I feel like in the world and how you tell your story, but or how the story is told, but to, to just kind of understand it a little bit more intimately and get your own, I guess, get your own mind in it. Because to me, I feel like oral histories, there are a lot of resources out there. I guess we could put links into like how you can do an oral history and the best way to do it. But to me, I feel like the creativity of it and the uniqueness of it is something that you can create within yourself. And so if you kind of see, as you put yourself in that mode, like as a listener and somebody who's just really appreciating other people's stories, and then starting to think about like what kind of vibe are you going for, and what kind of environment are you trying to create to make the person that you're interviewing feel at home and at ease and at a place that they want to open up and share, and that they trust you. And so to me, I feel like that's something maybe to kind of figure out in yourself first, before getting, I don't know, like the formal education. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I just feel like it becomes more creative and more interesting and more unique if you kind of trust yourself in how you approach it.
No, that's helpful. That's helpful.
I don't know. What do you
I like
think,
that.
Tanya?
Oh, I don't have any experience here. I'm a freestyler.
You do.
I'm a freestyler. I think the best thing to do is to start, right? And I think Miranda's right. Like, start recording, start logging, find someone who like wants to talk first versus forcing someone to talk that you yourself want to listen to. Because I find it's very difficult to get my mom talking once I'm ready to record, and she'll shut down and she'll shut off. And I try and I try and I try. And sometimes I'm sneaky and I like hit record, and that woman knows that thing is on because I'm behaving differently apparently once I hit record, and she will zip it in less than 30 seconds. I'd be trying.
Sneaky.
But that has taught now, but now that I have like an aunt who is talking, right, versus trying to get someone to talk, I'm realizing don't lean towards forcing someone, right?
Yeah.
There are people in your family who want to tell you not just their story. You don't know who the historian is, like in who your aunt, if she's a historian. You don't know if your cousin has already been, doing research on 23andMe or Ancestry. And these are things that I found out just talking to my aunt. She wants to talk. She's telling me she has so much more to say, and that her daughter, my cousin, has taken what she's told her throughout her life and has already done research. So that's a resource like waiting to happen that I haven't tapped into yet. And I think that's the best way, because, I think there is something wonderful about having a person in mind that you want to hear, right? But I think it's also important to like honor a person's silence, and that's hard for me because I like noise. So I'm learning every day to honor people's silence and know that, you know what, that's a pause. Let me focus on someone who wants to tell their story or a version of someone else's story, and I'll focus there, and I'll just work on that and exercise some skills, and then maybe I can bring it back to, the quieter person who might be okay talking to me, but just doesn't want me to share it with anyone. And then I have to be okay with that too. Yeah. Right. So I say start with the talker.
It's easier.
It is easier. Start with the talker, for real. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I like what you said, Tanya. And I think, kind of learning as you go along is also like learning, looking at, and observing, improving as you go, your own style. That's a good way to look at it. And maybe preparing questions. I think that's another thing. Making sure that you've got questions, even if you veer from the questions, to make sure that they have questions so they can start going into their memory banks before you guys even meet, right? Like, sharing the questions beforehand. But the talker, Yes. I mean, it goes back to the consent piece, right? Where you did not have consent with your mother.
No.
So you knew you were wrong.
I was.
And she shut you down.
She did, always does. And now she doesn't talk to me. So don't do that. For you people out there in the future or now, Now she won't talk to me. And so I have to actually regain her trust. Like I did the big mistake of documenting her without her consent, right? And so now I'm like, oh, Ma, tell me, this story about you and so on. And she's like, nope, I already know you're going to put the recorder on. I'm not telling you anything. And now I have to wait for her to for us to naturally get into conversation and things come up. But if I was to sit her down and ask her, she won't trust that process anymore. So I would say, don't burn those bridges, right? Like if these are stories that you want and you do want to document them, you might have to find a different outlet. She might be okay with me listening and then just typing it out later, this is the conversation I had with my mom today about ABCD and that's it. So yeah,
and maybe somebody else. Maybe it's somebody else,
or maybe someone else.
Conversation,
right? True.
Yeah. And I will say this, because after my parents were on the NAP Kickback, I was in Houston with my aunt, and I was like, all right, we're gonna do.
No, they were on In the Tellin.
In the Tellin. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
In the Tellin. Check it out. Great episode. Hey, Mom and Pops. But I wanted to record my Aunt Helen, my mom's older sister, and she's like, I can't do that thing that your parents did, but I'll tell you the stories. And so, and so she wanted the stories to be passed on, but there was a way that she wanted to share them, but not necessarily recorded. And I was a little taken aback, but I was also so honored that she wanted to tell me those stories, and I just had to, make adjustments in terms of then how I'm going to document that, So
that's perfect.
Yeah,
you could just you document it by just passing it on, sharing it.
Yeah,
like vocally,
right?
Because I got some stories. Well,
like a griot.
That's right. Got stories. Yeah.
So Lee, now that you've done this course or this training, what's your next step?
My next step. What is my next step? Well, I will be applying for the Beyond the Archive grant. I do think I want to dive into the Rainbow History Project archives, and then I think use that to then also interview Black, queer, and trans space creators here in DC. And then I think when it comes to my family, I was just home this past week, and I'm going to plan a week-long trip in June. And then I want to sit down with my parents and go deeper in terms of their stories with them individually and them as a couple, because they lived a lot of life before they met each other. Because this is they're both.
They did, yeah, right.
And so as I learn more and more about my pops, I want to document his story as well, because I know a lot about my mom, but I certainly don't know everything about mom, and I know even less about him.
Right.
And interested in learning more about him. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Reese put in the chat, it's a long one. In the 1950s, my father would put a microphone connected to a reel-to-reel tape recorder in the middle of the table during Thanksgiving dinner.
That would be me.
Goodness.
Yep, that would be me. I just
but
want to
that's
hear all the
thing.
conversation.
You had a little phone, and you were
true. That's the size of a turkey, right?
But she's talking about this big, monster of a thing.
3 foot.
I mean, on the table.
You knew you were being recorded. Yeah, that was.
Did your family, did your mother, did your sister, did they talk once it was on? Were they freely, was there a story that he wanted shared, or was it just, let me put this thing on the table and see what happens? Did he have a plan? I'm very curious to know what his plan might have been. Just a microphone. Okay. And did he ask questions? Oh, he would just put the microphone. I see. He didn't put the whole, no questions. I see. He didn't put the whole thing on the table. He just put the microphone. Okay. I thought he put the whole thing. Which is big. Those suckers are big.
Oh, she said
no one noticed.
Oh,
so he's a Tanya.
He's a Tanya.
That is me. I be doing that. Don't listen. Sometimes you gotta watch when you hang out with me. You'll never know.
Yeah.
He said he just wanted to record the conversations.
Yeah.
And do you have those recordings now? What have you done with those recordings?
That's something I would do.
Sure. You just you just told on yourself. We already know. We gotta check your phone when we sit down at the table with you, Tanya.
Oh gosh.
The next retreat, we'll know.
Yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
while we find out what happened to those reel to reels,
And Steven.
And Steven.
and Steven. Steven's out there somewhere. He's out there having himself a good chuckle somewhere.
He is.
Okay. So she said some of them she has. We have, if you're interested in oral histories, or if you're interested in telling stories, we have In the Telling, which is our podcast where I guess the first 3 seasons, the first 3 years was an audio podcast. And then we have moved over into making it a video cast. Is that what it's called? Is it called a video cast? I don't know, but it's on YouTube. But it's also still not. It's still a podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. It's called In the Telling. So if you're interested in that, definitely check us out. Also, NAP, the Nomadic Archivist Project, we have our own scholarship that is happening now. So you check us out on the NAP website. Its applications are due the 31st of March. You find out pretty quick within the month of April. But it's a really cool scholarship. It's for people who are independent archivists of African descent, or from the global Black world, or, up and coming archivists. Maybe you're in library school and you're interested in getting involved in like the Society of American Archivists or something like that, going to the annual conference or another conference like that. The scholarship is to help support that. So if you're interested, it's a very simple application process. It's just, it's here if you need it. We definitely, everybody in the Zoom, we're all a part of this process. Even Steven, wherever he is, even Steven, Steven, even. Steven put it up. Thank you. Stephen put up our Nomadic Archivist Project.
Minus the space between the E and the CT. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's /scholarship or something like that. What else? Anything else we want to leave people with before we sign off?
Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Well, you and Steven will be back in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yes.
Tanya and I will be back soon enough, though. Don't worry.
Yes.
We will.
And then what else?
And we don't know what we're talking about yet, but it'll be something.
But we're always talking about something.
It'll be fun, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So listen, enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy your Lunar New Year, wherever you are, whatever time of the day it is for you. Hopefully it's still happening. If not, if you're in the future, then what do we say to people in the future?
Thank you for letting us know tomorrow exists.
Oh,
that's it.
Thank you for being the proof, I guess.
That's right.
Oh gosh. Okay. Steven says we will meet you in the future.
We will meet you in the future.
We'll meet you in the future. Very, very poetic, Steven. Very poetic. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.